I mean, everything, getting the
I
space,
mean,
getting the
I
venue.
can tell you
so
for a
much.
fact, the girls that are on Bravo were paid $5,000. I think a day. I think it was a day last time, and I think it was across the board, whether you were Teresa Giudice or Brandy Redmond from Dallas. Like no matter who you were paid the same amount. So we would probably have to pay people something. Not no
Yeah, I mean,
$5,000 a day because our prices are going to be much less. But I don't know if we would have to, but we would have to somehow. But it's
they don't have to
guys,
be that
this
much. They don't
sounds
have to be that much
fabulous and
less.
wonderful. It's a lot of work. It's like a lot of work.
It's a
And
lot of work.
legally, we would have to have a lawyer involved every step of the way. So this is like not a joke here.
I know it's not a cheap.
But
Yeah.
the DMs that have come in, that's what people want me and you will be helping to do. Just putting that out there.
I would do in a heartbeat. All right, well, let's put it out. I bet you somebody listening to this show that's an Uber fan is probably an attorney, is probably an event planner, is probably connected into New York City. I mean, because it always blows my mind who's listening. Well, and probably a lot of people from Bravo too. But anyway.
Yes.
But I do think probably with the amazing fan base that you and I have, and just people that listen to our shows, I always say they're so much smarter than I am, which I love. I don't know, could happen. I really love it.
Right. And like I'm plugged into the New York scene as far as like where to go, what the space is.
Yeah.
That I can do.
But
that I can do.
To your point, you need an entertainment attorney who's privy to, because we're going to get cease and desist, because even if we're not doing anything illegal, they're not going to want this to happen. It's not good press for them. It's really not good press when it sells out.
And like, right. And like the liabilities for like, you need to sign, your life away in the sense that like when Tiffany Moon misses her flight and this and that, like I'm not paying for your hotel in the Dallas, like, you know what I mean? Like the liability that needs to be like, so this is the thing, but could we do it here today in May? And this is in October? Yeah, we could. If I really, we could. So
you even start it, maybe we even start it much smaller than what we anticipate. Like maybe we just do Saturday, we just do one day from 7 to midnight or whatever. And that's just it. Like we get as many housewives and we do the anti-con and we do whatever different. And it's just one day this time, instead of trying to do a full weekend. And it is what it is.
Listen, people love my weekends with Kim D. I mean, that's a done deal. Like Kim's ready to do a dinner, she's already like, okay, well, how would this work? And is it sit down or appetizers? And, okay, like different prices, like this is this, you want your picture with Kim D, you want a one-on-one, that's a higher price. But I guarantee you it's going to be less than, I think the SVP tickets for BravoCon were $2,500 for the weekend. And I think the regular was $1,750. So, listen, let me put it this way. We're going to cover BravoCon here, like hour by hour.
Sure.
And just don't you guys worry. I mean, if I'm not there, somebody that is associated with Behind the Velvet Rope and Sarah Fraser Show will be there, and we will have everything to cover for all of you in one space. But I mean, I might be there. So when we cover it, just maybe I'll be in two places at once. Anyway, speaking, what else would you like to talk about today?
Well, thoughts. What are your thoughts as putting your lawyer hat on? Because I love your lawyer takes. Nene Leakes. This lawsuit continues to get a lot of discussion from multiple different, bloggers, platforms. I see it everywhere. Now,
our chat last week where we talked about Nene's lawsuit was really highly rated. It's still trending up there. Just someone said that when did this show turn into David talking about all the press he gets and how great he is? Well, I mean, I'm just telling you, our Nene Leakes thing last week did really well. So what do people like? Why is it getting interesting?
The other thing that's come out is, in Nene's lawsuit, she is naming like Stassi, as an example of how they fostered an environment of racism. Stassi is in there. Ramona is in there. Now, I didn't realize this, but you've had Ebony and you are friends with Ebony. So I didn't realize that there had been a complaint that Ramona had allegedly said on the set, this is why we shouldn't have Black people on the show because of, I guess, a confrontation that she and Ebony had had. And they found that Ebony, it sounded like Bravo hired an independent investigator who found Ebony's story not to be credible, but the producer who witnessed it to be credible. So then I guess it's sort of like almost crossed each other out and nothing happened to Ramona. Is that
what you mean, the producer? And I'll tell you some things in a minute, because I am friends with Ebony, and she's in what they're saying. The producer said no, they were opposite Ebony and said Ramona never said this.
No, I think the producer backed Ebony, but they seem to find Ebony's story to be different and not credible, and the producers to be credible.
But it was still dismissed. I mean, Ramona was dismissed. Correct. With no prejudice or whatever.
This is from Reality T. They say that Nene in her lawsuit pointed to other Bravo celebrities, Ramona, Stassi, Catherine Dennis. The lawsuit claims that three faced little to no consequence for past racist behavior while employed by the network. OG Ramona had issues with the franchise's first Black housewife, Ebony. Ramona allegedly made the comment, "This is why we shouldn't have Black people on the show," following an incident with Ebony. Ebony, along with a crew member, so it's not a producer, crew member, filed a complaint against Ramona. The complaint noted that Ebony soon observed and reported racially offensive conduct and or statements by longtime white housewife Ramona. Bravo stated the investigation into the claims supported the crew member's account, but not Ebony's. Nene suit points out that instead of disciplining Ramona, she was then cast on Real Housewives Ultimate Girls Trip. But okay,
she points that out. She points out that even though Stassi was fired, she was on for a long time, and Catherine Dennis is still on. Yeah, she mentions all three of them. And she mentions Miss Zolciak, which is the key to the whole lawsuit, really.
You think, but my question as an attorney, right? Because it's not, it's not what you know, it's what you can prove, right? So it's like, do you think that these, can you prove, like, okay, like the Ebony, right? Obviously, Bravo believed the crew member, didn't believe Ebony. Or
let me just say, and I'm not defending my friend Ebony, as far as I know, yes, I agree with all of that. And I agree that all that actually happened, because I speak the truth here, whether you're my best friend or not. But I don't think Ebony has ever said that she has done this. Just for one clarification. I agree with you that my opinion is that Ebony did launch a complaint against Ramona. But I'm just saying, and there's no interview. I mean, I asked her point blank on this show, and she didn't answer. Because I mean, have you ever heard Ebony speak? It's like when you hear a lawyer speak, like
I know the lawyers never
answer. So she didn't really answer the question, but I do believe that that's what happened. But she's never really admitted that. But I mean, I think that's why we didn't have a reunion. It wasn't like bad ratings. That was part of it. But it was like we had this investigation and we had bad ratings, and now we're going to talk about race at a reunion, which nobody wants to hear about. But there was also an investigation going on, guys. And that's why this reunion was really, if you want to get to the bottom of it, not happening. What do I think about